All right, we are going to get started on lesson 1-7. So 1-7 is about multiplying rational numbers. Okay, how is that different from 1-6? Well, 1-6 we were only multiplying integers, and now we're getting into multiplying fractions and decimals that are positive or negative. So there's two different ways of doing things. We need to think about how we multiply fractions, and we need to think how we multiply decimals. So I'm going to start by multiplying fractions. So if you look in the box, it says the first step is to make any mixed number into improper fractions, then reduce any numerator with any denominator, multiply the numerators together, multiply denominators together, then follow the rules for multiplying to find the sign, that is the positive or negative value. So if I had one fraction that was 4/6, and my other fraction would be 3/7. All right, to multiply these two fractions together, here's multiplying and equals, we are going to see if we can turn any mixed numbers into improper fractions. Well, in this case, we don't have any mixed numbers, so we don't need to worry about that. So step 2 is reduce any numerator with any denominator. And what that means is that you are going to try to find any numerator in either fraction that has a common factor with any denominator in any fraction. So if you're watching, you should notice that 6 and 3 have common factors, and that is 3. So we're going to cross them out, and then we're going to divide each of them by 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 6 divided by 3 is 2. All right, you may have also noticed that now our 4 and 2 have a common factor of 2 as well. So we're going to cross out 4, we're going to cross out 2, and we're going to divide them both by 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So now we have 2 over 1 times 1 over 7. Once we've reduced as far as we can reduce, we then just multiply. So 2 times 1 is 2, and 1 times 7 is 7. So we're left with 2 7s. Their signs are the same, so our answer is positive. So we're just left with 2 over 7. Now, what if we had 7.5 times 8 1/5? Okay, this could also be, let's erase that. Let's make this fun. 8. Oh, that's not the one I wanted to erase. 8. Oh, 8. Erase. There we go. Oh, that's super annoying. Erase. Right. That is, I don't know what's happening. All right, it's going to stay as 8 1/5. Okay, so first step, turn any mixed numbers into improper fractions. So to do that, we multiply the denominator by the whole number and then add the numerator. So 2 times 7 is 14 plus 1 is 15 over 2 times 8 times 5 is 40 plus 1 is 41 over 5. Now they're in improper fractions. Now we can reduce any numerator with any denominator. So 5 and 15 have common factor of 5. So 15, 5. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 5 divided by 5 is 1. And we get to move on to multiplying the numerators together. And 3 times 41, well, 3 times 4 is 12, and 3 times 1 is 3, over 2 times 1 is 2. All right, so pretty straightforward. If one of these was negative, then our answer would be negative because their signs would be the same. If they were both negative, we would be back to positive because their signs are the same. So that's multiplying fractions. You multiply the numerators together and then multiply the denominators together, and that's when you get your answer. So when we talk about multiplying decimals, you can see up top that it says multiply any way you know how, and your answer will have the same number of numbers after the decimal as your factors combined. So I'll talk about that as I'm doing the problem. So if we had 18.5 times 3.4. Let's make one of these negative just for fun. So if this was our problem, okay, I know my answer is going to be negative because they have different signs. So I'm going to write that right away so I don't forget. And then I'm going to multiply. So the way that I multiply is by stacking. So 18.5 and 3.4 multiplied. There we go. All right, 4 times 5 is 20. Put a 2 up there. 4 times 8. 8 and 8 is 16 times 2 is 32 plus 2 is 34. And 4 times 1 is 4 plus 3 is 7. Okay, then we put in that circle down, that 0 down there for the place filler. 3 times 5 is 15. This becomes a 1. 3 times 8 is 24 plus 1 is 25. This becomes a 2. 3 times 2 is 6. Or 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. 0. 4 and 5 is 9. 7 and 5 is 12. 5 and 1 is 6. Okay, and then I go back to that part up here where it says your answer will have the same number of numbers, decimal places, after the decimal is your factors combined. So here's 1 and here's 2, so our decimal will go there. It has 2 decimal places. So if we wanted to do another problem, right, and our answer was negative, so 62.90. Okay, now we need to think about our another problem. So if we had a problem, I'll change colors. We'll change to purple. We haven't done purple yet. If we had negative 7.4 times negative 1.6. Right, my answer is going to be positive because they're both negative, and we have 7.4 and 1.6 multiply. 6 times 4, well, 6 and 6 is 12. 12 is 24. Carry the 2. 7 times 6, well, 7 times 7 is 49. Minus 7 is 42, plus 2 is 44. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 7 is 7. We're left with 4, 8, 11. And here again we have 2 decimal places, so 2 decimal places down here as well. Okay, so multiplying decimals, you really just have to multiply any way you know how. I stack, so that's the way that I am most comfortable teaching, so that's the way I did it. And then make sure you use the same rules for multiplying 2 negatives or multiplying 2 positives or multiplying a positive times a negative in your answer. Multiplying fractions, you just have to make sure they are improper or proper but not mixed. Then you reduce, then you multiply straight across on the numerators, straight across on the denominators, and you get your answer.